I'm so glad you're joining me in today's video. I am so excited to share this part one of two videos that I'm going to be doing all about how I grew my photography business on social media. So I'm really excited about this because I can really personally attribute so much of the business's growth from social media. And there's definitely some things I learned along the way that I really want to share with you so you don't make the same mistakes that I made. And also, you don't let the things hold you back that held me back initially. So I'm actually going to do this as two parts. So this video is going to be mainly focused on just misconceptions I had about growing my photography business on social media. And then part two is going to be specifically about 5 ways that I actually grew my business on social media. Okay, so let's get into it. I'm gonna share 3 misconceptions that I had specifically about growing my business on Instagram. And I really wanna share what I learned instead and what actually helped me grow out of that misconception. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with number 1. So the very first misconception that I had about growing my photography business on Instagram is that I had to have a lot of followers. I really genuinely felt like I had to have like at least 1,000 followers or a few hundred followers to start booking engaged clients from Instagram, just for them to take me seriously, for them to find me. And I really quickly realized that this was not true because I actually booked my second wedding ever, so my second paid wedding from Instagram, and I had under 100 followers. I think I had like 50 to 80, something like that. And this was like way before Reels could kind of help promote your content and help your Instagram get found a little bit more. This was like in the hashtag days. So yes, I actually did book a paying lead from Instagram. So it was, I think, an 8 to 10 hour wedding. It was a couple I absolutely loved and have kept in touch with. And I literally had like 50 to 80 followers, something like that. So absolutely not true that you have to have a ton of followers. Do not let that hold you back. And really what I saw worked instead of kind of worrying about how just large a following looked or how many people were following my work is really just giving value. So not just sharing my images, but I really tried to share just tips and encouragement and things that I really thought would help a bride or just a couple that was planning their wedding. I've been in the wedding planning process. I know just how overwhelming it can be. So I really wanted to just share more of that and just more of encouragement and just things I really thought would genuinely help them as they planned, instead of just like sharing my work and throwing up some hashtags. So I really saw fruit from that, and I was really, really consistent with how much I was posting. So I'm going to talk a little bit more about like consistency and building a plan and what worked for me, because I was working a corporate job and I honestly didn't have a whole lot of time to devote to Instagram and growing my business. Even though I really, really wanted to, I worked at an office for anywhere from like 9 to 12 hours a day. So not a ton of time, but I figured it out and I'm absolutely going to share what worked for me. So the second really big misconception I had, and this was honestly kind of tough to get over, and it took me a while, it definitely was not very quick, is that I was cringy or people were laughing at what I was doing and didn't take me seriously. And I think for me, this was in a large part because I was never like a photographer friend. I wasn't the friend in college that was following people around with a camera. I didn't pick up a camera until my early 20s. So I really kind of put myself into this category of a corporate girl with a corporate job and not an artist with a camera that's building a creative business. So that was really tough for me. And I think that misconception really held me back a lot because I was so worried about what other people were thinking about what I was posting. So the truth is, I don't know who laughed at me. Chances are some people probably did. But that wasn't really something I needed to be focusing on, because maybe for every couple of people that laughed or wondered what I was doing or made fun of me in some way, I never necessarily heard it or saw it. I just kind of worried about it and made it a thing in my mind. And for all of those people that maybe felt that way about what I was doing, I also had all of these brides and couples that were really excited about what I was sharing and were reaching out to me and wanting to know if I was available on their wedding date. And I really wish that I had just focused on those people instead of worrying about what like my lab partner from high school thought about what I was posting. Don't let the misconception that, oh, people are laughing or they have comments or they're judging me, do not let that hold you back, because there are so many incredible clients you're going to meet via Instagram if you just really put in the work and really try to serve people as best as you can. Okay, the third misconception I had about growing my photography business on social media was that I was going to be like glued to this thing, always having to check my phone, always having to be on Instagram. And this was honestly a really real fear for me because I wanted to make sure that with the little bit of time I had, I was being really intentional and I wasn't just getting lost in the vacuum of social media. So really a big misconception for me was that I was going to have to be posting stories all the time. I was going to have to post every single day, multiple times a day. And that is just not true. I actually, when I worked my corporate job and was building it up to be to the point where I went full time, I posted maybe 3 to 5 times a week. I posted stories maybe 2 to 3 times a week. And I really tried to build a plan that was not only consistent for me, but was sustainable. So I think when you're trying to build out a plan for how often you're going to show up on social media and just what that's going to look like, really think about what is actually going to be sustainable for you in your stage of life. So if you're in a place where you don't have a lot of time, maybe you're working a full-time job, maybe you have kids, maybe you have a couple of jobs, make sure that you're really thinking about how you can be consistent, because that's really the most important thing. Make it consistent and make it sustainable. So I was still able to book clients from Instagram, and actually I would say year 2 and 3, about 60 to 80% of the clients that I was booking were from Instagram. So I really was able to do this even though I didn't have lots and lots of time. And I absolutely was not like posting multiple times a day every single day. So I really wanted to share those misconceptions with you because I think it's really important to know what's holding us back if we want to move forward and if we want to grow our businesses on Instagram, or if we want to use social media as a really tactical tool for how to do this. So once you kind of know what's maybe holding you back, now you can kind of move forward and figure out how you're going to actually do this. So in the next video, I'm going to share 5 ways that I personally grew my photography business on Instagram. And I really hope that these ideas or these methods that I share will kind of stir up some thoughts for you. Maybe it'll give you thoughts of your own. Maybe you want to try everything that I tried. But ultimately, I really hope you can just remove any roadblocks that are holding you back and then come up with ways that you're going to move forward and grow your business on social media. So I'm so excited to chat with you in the next video, and please leave any questions you have in the comments. I would love to hear from you and help you in any way that I can.